Yo, yeah, you already know today, man. It's your boy Asan. We back at it again with another Bollywood review, and this time we're reviewing Andhadhun. And you watching Bollywood Reviews with Asan. This story is about Ayushmann Khurrana being a blind pianist, and like series of mysterious events happen that leads him to see a crime that now he must report, so that's basically the synopsis of the story. What I love about the story is that it just feels so different than any other story. It just feels so like when you walk into theaters you're expecting something else and you get something exceptionally different, which is just mind-blowing. Honestly, I've never seen a story like this played so beautifully, like on screen. Oh my god, it was an incredible story. Like, I gotta give it to the writers and the director. The acting was so good. This is Ayushmann Khurrana's best movie by far till date. Like, hands down, there's not another movie that you can name that he's done better than Andhadhun. This movie was absolutely phenomenal. His acting was really, really good. And then on top of that, Radhika Apte is one of the best actresses in our business at the moment, and she literally just killed it. Also, we got Tabo, which is just evergreen. She could just do any part and she killed it. Yeah, the side actors were perfect. They did their roles perfectly. No overacting, nothing that felt out of place. Everybody did their parts perfectly and equally amazing. The direction of the movie was so good. Like, this guy directed Badlapur before, and that's one of my favorite movies by Varun Dhawan. Movie was so good, and this movie, the direction was subpar. It was absolutely brilliant. It was such good direction, especially the camera angles, the way they showed a crime through a blind man's eyes, and different camera cuts, and every single frame was shot beautifully, and it felt like it was just handcrafted, every single thing. So I gotta give it to the director, man. I feel like he just legit killed it. Phenomenal directing, really good. The songs, they fit in so well in this movie. They are so good. Every scene, let's say, okay, so in the beginning, the movie starts, we're introduced to a lot of characters. We're introduced to Ayushmann Khurrana, we're introduced to Radhika Apte, we're introduced to Tabil. In the beginning, when they're all introduced and they all go to the cafe or the restaurant, whatever, where you're singing, couple of songs happen there, couple of songs get played out, and those songs flow in so well. It was so good. The way they did it, it was so smooth. The transitions were smooth, and then towards the end, Arijit Singh sings "Wo Ladki." Oh, honestly, oh my god, I can't even put into words. This guy is Arijit Singh. Anything he just sings, anything comes out of his mouth is just so good. It's so good. The song was really, really good. Another Kasood, all these songs, the songs flowed in perfectly. They flowed in so well with the movie. It glued in. It didn't feel like it was out of place or anything. Ending of the movie, that's the biggest topic that we have to cover today. I feel like the ending of the movie is why this movie is so good. This movie is what it is because of the ending, and I'm gonna explain them to you in a few theories that I think could be valid. So alright, let me get to the theories right now, okay? Ayushmann Khurrana was never fully blind. He was just blind in one eye. I have a few points. First one being that right when the movie starts, from the get-go, you see a rabbit, and the rabbit has one eye damaged and one eye is perfectly fine. Could also be a metaphor for the movie, but when he puts his face in the water, you see one eye is completely fine and the other eye is damaged. There's red circles around that eye. That's another point. Another valid point would be is that when he goes to the doctor to get his eyes checked, right, because his cornea was damaged, so the doctor checks only one eye, and only one eye, he said that the cornea was damaged in that eye. The other eye he didn't even check. And one more main one, which is very subtle. That's what I love about the movie. Everything was so subtle, Every time you see that auto drivers, he was driving a rickshaw, right? The back of the rickshaw had Aishwarya Rai's picture, but she was doing this. One eye closed and one eye open. So that's also a huge indicator of why I thought that throughout the whole movie is one eye was blind, one eye was open, because you could see there was indicators where, he went down when he lost his glasses, he picked it up, In the movie theaters, he's eating popcorn with Radhika Apte, and he's just grabbing the popcorn perfectly fine. So there's a few events that happen that leads you to know that, okay, this guy's not blind, he's just acting. So that's my theory. I think that this guy was never fully blind. He was just one eye blind. Okay, another theory, which is what could be a major theory, is that basically the ending of the movie is a lie. So what they did is that they actually went ahead and sold their liver to the sheikh, and also like that's how he got the money, and he moved to London, and that's it, and he's not blind anymore, and he's only blind in London because he helps him with his music and stuff. That could be also a theory where they split the money between him and the doctor, and they're all good, set to go. That's another good theory that you can't prove wrong. Another theory which is really, really intriguing is that Radhika Apte was in the movie as well, right? So he's telling the story to Radhika Apte, okay, at London, and he says, "Lambi kahani hai, coffee," okay? So, and that's the first line that we hear from our ears when the movie starts. It says, well, there's a quote about liver, and it says "Lambi kahani hai, coffee," and then the movie starts with a kisan is like shooting a rabbit and all that. So back in London, he says the same thing to her, "Lambi kahani hai, coffee." Another valid theory is that every time you see Radhika Apte on screen, that's real. All of that is real. Everything else is fake. Okay, so you can also make that theory, and that theory would work perfectly. Because think about it: the auto driver, the doctor, and that girl, auto driver's sister or something. All those people are fake because you can't. Radhika Apte was never there, so he made all that up. You could legit say that, and that's also a valid point. Within the same theory, you could say that Radhika Apte never saw the cop and also the cop's wife, so that could also be fake. Another point would be that how they said that Tabu had a lover in the movie. The lover could have been Ayushmann Khurrana. Who knows? He said at the end that he's got help with a friend. A friend helped him out to take him to London, and that friend could have been Tabu, and she could have paid for him, and she's probably still with him. And that sleeping part, that probably happened. Because think about it: if someone does a crime, why would they spend the night? You know what I mean? Like, they made you blind and they waited for you to wake up, and then they also spend the night, and then Radhika Apte comes in the morning. Like, that makes no sense in life. If you do a crime, you want to get out of there as quick as possible. You don't want to just sit there and wait around in the morning and see what happens. So that's also another huge point of that theory, which I'm leaning more towards, actually. I believe that could be the best theory, actually, where anytime you see Radhika Apte, and it's the truth, and anytime you don't see Radhika Apte, that's when he's lying. You could literally sit there and make any points about this movie that your brain allows you, because the possibilities are endless. You can say Murli gave the kidney to Ayushmann Khurrana. I don't know. There's so many things you can say that that you can't prove. So the whole point is that the movie maker succeeded in making a brilliant thriller with wonderful performances by Ayushmann Khurrana, Tabu, and everybody. And also, like, the biggest thing that they did is that they made the audience think and discuss about the movie even after it was finished, which is, like, I feel like that's the biggest compliment you can give any movie, like, when you're still discussing about it when the movie is completely done, like, for weeks and weeks. In my eyes, I believe definitely needs a second watch. I personally watched it twice, and each time I watched it with a different mindset, and each time I was correct. Like, with one mindset, I'm like, okay, he's blind, he's actually blind, and then the other mindset, I'm like, okay, he's not blind, but and both times it worked perfectly fine. So at the end of the day, man, I think this movie was one of the best movies I've seen. I would definitely put this movie in my top 50 movies to watch before I die. So I would definitely give it a watch, man. This movie was absolutely phenomenal. Great work, great performances, and this is literally a gem in Bollywood. Whenever you have a chance, please go to the theaters and watch it. If not, if you can't, wait for it on DVD. Please watch this movie. Really good movie. Tell me what you guys think about this movie in the comments below. What was your thoughts and what theories you think worked perfectly for you? Thank you so much for watching this video, man. Thank you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. This is your boy Asan, and we out.